Let's get a quick take on a Denver District Court judge reversing a zoning board's decision on a new building being built by the Denver Rescue Mission. Natasha Gardner from 5280 Magazine. It started out, I guess, it was zoned for as a community center, and then it was argued in court by the Ballpark Neighborhood Association that it wasn't a community center, and they've apparently at least won this round in court. What do you think of the decision?
It's just the latest chapter in a very long saga involving this particular building or structure, because it's more of an outside center where people would be able to go and spend time during the day. You know, on the one hand, you can understand that area of town has a disproportionate number of the homeless services in the city, but at the same time, where are you going to put them? No neighborhood really wants this in their backyard, and as a city, again and again, Denver has said that this is a population that we care about, that we want to do something for. So this pedantics over the zoning, is a community center or not, is there a door that goes between the old structure and the new, that's what we're coming down to. But I think the more important question is, how do we deal with this homeless population? What kind of services do we want to provide, and where are we going to do it?
David Kopel from the DU Law School and the Independence Institute. Legally, is there, I thought I saw a comment from the Denver City Attorney that there might be an appeal, but I don't know how that would work. Does it go to another court if they wish to appeal? Is the building usable? I mean, the building's already been built, so it's not like this is something that is still in the blueprint stage. How does this decision affect what we currently have?
Sure, it can be appealed to the Colorado Court of Appeals, but the Judge Michael Mullins, who issued the ruling, and is a very experienced and well-regarded Denver District Court judge, his job is not to define homeless policy for the city. All he is allowed to do, and what he's required to do, is apply the law. The existing zoning law is that a homeless shelter like the Denver Rescue Mission is not part of, that area is not zoned for something like the Denver Rescue Mission to exist there. But because the Denver Rescue Mission preceded the zoning law currently in effect, it's what's called a compliant use. They're grandfathered in. But when they want to expand their homeless shelter, that doesn't get the advantage of grandfathering. What they wanted to do was they build a daycare center, essentially, for the homeless. It wouldn't have beds, and there wouldn't be a door between their existing homeless shelter and their new daytime activity center with courtyard and lunch and things like that for the homeless. I think Judge Mullins correctly ruled that that is a non-compliant use. It's not compatible with the existing zoning law. It's a larger homeless shelter. It's not a community center. You could argue that the city council should change the zoning there, but that's not his decision to make. He just enforced the existing zoning law as it is.
Eric Sonne, a political analyst. We have a neighborhood that the Rescue Mission has been there for years, back when it was really Skid Row. You built Coors Field 20 years ago. Now you have $1 million lofts right down the block. So is this something for the city to start to manage? Was it inevitable because of how Denver's developing? What are your thoughts?
Well, it's an inevitable conflict as the Ballpark neighborhood grows and as it certainly gentrifies on steroids. I don't know if the disclosure is relevant, but since I left my consulting firm over a year ago, but before I left, we did some work with the Ballpark Neighborhood Association, so I'll just put that out there, but that's way past tense. I think, as Natasha pointed out, these kinds of tensions are inevitable. They're going to escalate. As I read the judge's decision just in the last few hours, and David touched on this, I think the real rub was that they sold this as a community center, but what it really was, and clearly in documents dating back a long time, was an expansion of the center, of the shelter. And I think the judge probably rightly ripped their hands and ultimately overturned the decision because at the end of the day, it was not intended as a community center. It was intended as a shelter expansion. And he said, let's at least be straightforward and transparent about what the intentions are.
And making his debut on the program, Sal Thomas, political activist and director of Rue Black PAC. Welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Your thoughts on the issue?
I would like to touch on something that Natasha said in terms of it being pedantic or semantic. This idea that it wasn't presented as what it should be. I personally am trying